Michael, care of Wakiso Farm Supplies and General Hatcheries. We are located 3 kilometers from Wakiso town. If you want to reach here in the shortest time possible, when you reach Wakiso town, you tell anybody that Old Centenary, or where Centenary Bank used to be, to take you to Dr. Waiswa's farm. They will bring you. Our numbers are 0783 410 485. Then 0756 173 150. I'm a chicken or poultry expert. I've been practicing poultry breeding for the last 11 years. I own a diploma in animal production and management and a bachelor's in veterinary medicine.
As a beginner, what should I consider before constructing a poultry house?
Concerning how we construct a poultry house, you have to factor in the following factors. You have to get to know which kind of birds are you going to rear. A case in point is that for the case of broilers, they require 1 square feet per bird. For the case of all Europurposes, like I told you before last time, the Europurposes that we have is Croiler, Kenbro, Sasso, Sussex, Rainbow, and the Croiler, Kenbro, Sasso, Sussex, and the Rainbow. Those 5. When you want to rear those for commercial, you have to do 1.5 square feet per bird. Then for the case of layers, we do 2 square feet. Now, if you want to construct a house for, I'm giving an example of 100 birds. For the case of broilers, you make a house of 10 by 10. That's length times the width. I mean length 10 feet and width 10 feet. For the case of Europurposes, you make a 10, that is the width, and 15, that is the length. Then for the case of layers, you make 10 by 20 feet. That's what I'm meaning by 2, 1.5 and 1 respectively.
What else should I put in mind during construction of that house? Is there a specific amount of light needed in a poultry house?
Besides that, you have to get to know that those birds need a lot of fresh air. Yeah, like another living organism, they consume oxygen, hence the need for fresh air. Those birds should have air saturation that is good for them to inhale. In other words, when you're constructing a poultry house, just leave 3 feet from the ground, then let the rest of the parts be opened up to the rooftop. If not, you can leave amidst a great area that gives a lot of aeration in case the house is too long. Yeah. Then what you have to consider again is the sides where normally the rainwater enters the poultry house. That side should be closed totally. Yeah, you should close it. Reason being, the more the rainwater goes into the poultry house, the more those birds are prone or subjected to a certain bacteria called E. coli or Escherichia coli, and therefore an infection called colibacillosis. So what you have to do during windy times when it is raining, you have to determine which side allows water entrance into the poultry house and close that side totally. Like you're seeing mine here. To my right hand side is closed totally. The rest are open, like you're seeing. Those are the main issues that you have to factor in when you're building the poultry house.
Is there a specific amount of light needed in a poultry house?
If those birds are to be raised up to full maturity, consider constructing a house that will not allow in too much light or very little light. If you allow too much light or very darker places, those birds exhibit what we call cannibalism. They start pecking one another, eating one another, and all the like. And when they are to lay eggs, it means that they will also consume the eggs as part of the cannibalic activities in birds. So to mitigate against cannibalism, you should consider that as well. Then it should be having a floor that can allow these birds to thrive very well, in that you shouldn't leave the area bare ground. Like I explained last time, that when you leave a bare ground area in the poultry house, you will be subjecting those birds to the very bacteria I talked of, the E. coli. That E. coli is readily available in any dirty environments, most especially in soil areas, in the dusty areas. You should avoid such in the poultry house. In other words, you should either apply gravels or seal off using cement. Any of the two can work very well. It should be the one that can be easily cleaned. In other words, when you are able to remove the litter when it has grown, when it has overstayed in the poultry house, that house should be very easier for you to remove the poo for those birds.
What is the type of wire mesh should I use when constructing a poultry house?
It should be one that does not allow such small wild birds to enter it. So in other words, you should use the small wire mesh besides other mesh for it to be sealed off totally, for those birds not to gain entry into the poultry house. If you don't do so and they gain that entry, they also predispose birds to a certain protozoan parasite called the Emeria. We have Emeria tenera, Emeria savulina, and Emeria necatrix. They are the etiological agents that causes coccidiosis. So if you allow the poultry house to be one that allows those birds to enter, those small red birds, it means that those birds will defecate inside the poultry house, but in the long run, for them, they are resistant to coccidiosis, and your birds will suffer from the same.
How many types of poultry do you have or own as Wakiso Farm Supplies?
The breed that you're seeing here is called the Kenibro. We as Wakiso Farm, we own 7 breeds of birds. 5 for dual purposes, 1 for the layers, and 1 for the broilers. But in Uganda, we have 16 breeds of birds, and these follows. For the case of the dual purpose, we have Kenibro, we have Croira, we have Sasso, we have Rainbow, and we have Sussex. Those are the breeds. But let me first categorize. Like I said, we have 3 categories of birds. We have the dual purpose breeds, like I've just counted them. We have the broiler birds, the one who's for meat, and we have the layer birds. In Uganda, I've counted the 5 for the dual purpose, but those are breeds. Then there are what you call sub-breeds or types. Among the Sussex, we have the light Sussex and the speckled Sussex. We as Wakiso Farm, we own the light Sussex. We don't have the speckled Sussex. Then there is the red Sussex. All those we don't have. But in Uganda, light Sussex only exists, and it is only us having it. The rest, even other companies own it. and you will see it. Then for the case of the Sasso in Uganda, we have the Sasso silver lance and the Sasso naked neck. We as Wakiso Farm, we own the Sasso silver lance, but other companies own Sasso naked neck as well. The main differences between these two is that Sasso silver lance has no any naked neck and it is single color. You can call it light red or deep yellow. Then for the case of Sussex, the light Sussex is white but with strips, black strips in the neck and at the tail region. Of course the speckled are dotted and the red are red, meaning the Sussexes. Then lastly, the rainbow are multicolored but more of red speckled males and purely red females. Then for the case of croilers, they are mostly multicolored and the colors balance, only that they shouldn't have the frizzled feathers, also known as ancestral in Uganda, and they shouldn't have the naked neck, also known as a single in Uganda. If they possess those two traits and they tell you that they are croilers, it means that those people crossed those birds with locals. They are not purely croilers. Croilers are multicolored, all colors, no naked neck, no frizzled feathers. Then for the case of Kennybro, it is purely deep red, single color, like you're seeing these ones. This is a parent stock for Kennybro. Yeah, that's all about the dual purposes. Then from that, in Uganda, for the case of layers, we have the Novogen, we have the Isa Brown, we have the higher line, we have the Decarib White. Yeah, and we as Wakiso Farm, we own Isa Brown. We don't have the rest of the breeds. Then there is Bovanese, I had forgotten Bovanese. It is also breed among the layers. Those are the 5. The main reason that's why that I say that we have 16 in total. We have 5 for layers, 4 for broilers, and 7 for dual purposes, like I counted for you. Then for the case of broilers in Uganda, we have Efficiency Plus, we have Rose 308, we have Cob 700, and we have Cob 500. We as Wakiso Farm, we own Efficiency Plus, and it is the best among all the broilers. Then among all the layers, the best is Novogen in terms of laying or laying percentage. It is followed by Isa Brown. So the breed that you have is second to the best in layers. But when you rank them in terms of disease resistance, of course we have the best in disease resistance. Isa Brown is the best in disease resistance. That is all about the breeds. As Wakiso Farm, we have Isa Brown for layers, Efficiency Plus for broiler, then for dual purpose, Kennybro, Sasso, Silverlands, Croira, Rainbow, and Late Sussex.